Hello learners, welcome to this video lesson, and today we are going to discuss the topic that is assessment for enhancing learning. So before starting our discussion, let me to welcome you all. I, Dr. Niradhar, faculty member, School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University. On my personal behalf and on behalf of my school, that is School of Education IGNOU, I welcome you all to this online course. The course code is BES 127 and course title is Assessment for Learning. And presently we are in the first week of this MOOC, of this massive open online course under Swayam platform, and now we are dealing the module 1. We are just studying the module 1, and the title of module 1, that is concept and purpose of evaluation. So friends, in this module you will find two video lessons. First is measurement, assessment and evaluation, its basic concepts and relationships that already we have discussed in this module in earlier teaching point. And in this lesson we will discuss about assessment for enhancing learning. That means the concept of assessment already you have studied. Okay, I think you have understood the concept of assessment, and here we will discuss, here we will give more focus upon assessment for enhancing learning, means how assessment helps for enhancing learning. Let us go forward to know about the learning outcomes. So friends, here in this video lesson, after going through this video lesson, I am sure that you will achieve two learning outcomes. You will be able to discuss the role of assessment in enhancing learning, and second, you will be able to explain the terms appraisal, test and examination used in assessment. So our focus point is upon these two learning outcomes, and after our discussion I am hopeful that you will achieve these two learning outcomes. So friends, now let us focus upon the concept of assessment in teaching learning process. Okay, so in teaching learning process, how we use the concept of assessment. So friends, you know that it may be measurement, it may be assessment, or it may be evaluation. The concepts are different, but here assessment, we consider that, and we practice assessment as a part of teaching learning process. We practice assessment as an integrated part of teaching learning process. Without assessment there is no learning. How the teacher will know, how the teacher will get an idea that whether the instructional objectives which is included in a lesson or whatever the teacher is teaching in the class, whether the learners are learning or not, whether the learners are understanding the concept or not, whether the learners are acquiring the requisite skills and competencies from that content or not. So for that you will find that assessment is an integrated part of teaching and learning process. So as per the constructivist concept of teaching and learning process, you will find that varieties of tools, varieties of techniques, it may be test, it may be different types of scale, or it may be a type of schedule, just like observation schedule, just like interview schedule. So all types of tools and techniques that we use in education, that we use in school assessment, in assessment of learners' performance. It may be assessment of scholastic areas or assessment of co-scholastic areas of the learners. You will find that assessment is an integrated part. Okay, and this is an integrated part of teaching learning process. It helps not only to know the abilities of the learners, rather it helps for gathering and for acquiring new knowledge of the learners. And further we can say assessment helps in monitoring learning and ensuring minimum level of learning. Let in a subject of mathematics, in a particular class, it may be in class 6th, class 7th or in class 9th or 10th, you can say that what skills and competencies the learners they're supposed to achieve in mathematics. Okay, so what mathematical computational skills they're supposed to achieve in class 6th and class 7th. So that is called as the minimum level of learning. You will find that in a class you will find few learners are above average, few learners are below average, but one level should be fixed. That's called as the minimum level of learning. So here assessment for enhancing learning, it helps the learners, or it helps the teacher to get an idea that whether the learners are at the level of achieving the minimum level of learning in a particular subject or not. And further, assessment helps teachers in planning teaching learning according to short-term and long-term need of the learners. Try to understand. It also helps the teacher to plan their teaching learning process, to plan their teaching learning activities to achieve the short term as well as the long term need of the learners. What learners need, okay, it may be short term or it may be long term. And further, assessment assist communication about children's progress and development between teacher and child, teacher and parent, and teacher and teacher. So here the work of assessment, it works for enhancing learning in terms that in between the teacher and the child you will find that communication takes place. Okay, teacher try to understand that what learning or what type of understanding the learners have achieved, and it is in between teacher and parents. Also, teacher provides feedback about the children to their parents, that how much they have learned, what understanding and skills and competencies. It may be in descriptive terms also, what are the different things they have already achieved and what are the different things they have not achieved. And this is, it also helps to the teachers within their colleagues. Okay, so whether the things are going properly so far as a particular subject as per their planning, or not. Okay, let us try to understand much about the concept of assessment for enhancing learning. So here assessment helps in identifying specific learning difficulties of the learners so that teachers can plan and adopt suitable strategy and techniques to support such learners. So here you see our focus is upon, or the focus of assessment is upon to identify the specific learning difficulties. So what are the different specific learning difficulties the learners are facing, and how to find out the cause of that learning difficulties, and accordingly, or as per the cause, so what remedial measures, what treatments, what remedial measures you have to provide to the learners. So that's why this is also another work for another role of assessment. So that's why in this way assessment works for enhancing learning. And further, we can say that assessment helps in maintaining continuity in communication between teacher, learners, and the parents. As you know, the progress report, or so far as learners involvement is concerned in different subjects, teacher observe the things that the learners are doing, and at the same time teacher also analyze the scores or analyze the abilities. It may be in a quantitative term or it may be in a qualitative term, and teacher communicates it to the parents about the abilities of their children. Okay, so here as per the feedback you'll find that parents are also provide proper guide to the child. So that's why these are the certain rules of assessment for enhancing learning of the learners. Okay, this is not only to measure the performance of the learners, rather it helps for enhancing new knowledge of the learners. And further, we can say that assessment as a part of the classroom practice, that means what teacher does in the classroom, and how teacher you can say deal the learners so far as you can say teaching learning process in a particular subject is concerned. First of all, teacher identifies the objectives, the learning outcomes, and as per the learning outcomes, teacher prepare a lesson, or you can say teacher includes certain teaching learning activities. It may be a group discussion, it may be a type of brainstorming, it may be a type of demonstration, it may be a type of storytelling. Okay, by using different tools and techniques, and teacher engage the learners in different ways. Okay, within the peer or within the group, teacher provides space to the learners to participate in discussion, to exhibit themselves, to exhibit their understanding, to help. Teacher helps the learner to understand that what is their strong points and what are their weaknesses. So that can be done by peer evaluation, that can be done by group evaluation. So teacher plan the lesson keeping in consideration of the learning outcomes, and as per the learning outcomes, teacher organize the teaching learning experiences, what the teachers supposed to do in the classroom, and with describing the things, with explaining the things, with doing the hands-on activities in the classroom, teacher also plan that how to assess the things. So here teacher observes the things what is going on in the classroom. Okay, so as per the constructivist concept of teaching learning process and assessment is concerned, so here teacher involve himself or herself to know detail about the learners, to know detail attainment about the learners. Okay, so whether they are equally contributing in a group, whether they are understanding the concept, whether they are able to explain the concept, whether they are able to correlating to concept, correlating to things, whether they are able to illustrate it, whether they are able to narrate it, and whether they are able to whether they are able to link it the prior experiences or the prior knowledges that they have acquired from different situations, for acquiring new knowledge, for acquiring you can say new experiences. So that is the part of that is the work of the teacher so far as assessment is concerned. So that's why it is considered that assessment is not a terminal process, rather assessment is a continuous process. This is a formative practices. Okay, so it goes with the teaching learning process, it goes with each and every lessons which is going on in the classroom. So friends, now let us go forward to discuss about the terms related to assessment and evaluation. So many a time the terms that we use in assessment and evaluation, just like here you see three terms we use, that is appraisal, test and examination. So try to understand what is an appraisal, what is a test, and what is an examination. So many times interchangeably we use these terms, but it has its own connotation and it has its own meaning and interpretation. So try to understand that what is an appraisal first. You see, appraisal is mostly focused upon the teacher behavior, or that is the teacher appraisal. Students appraisal may be there, but here teacher appraisal means first of all it includes the personal information about the teacher, the subject personal information, it includes the year of experience, the specialized areas of the teacher, the subject the teachers are dealing. Okay, and it also includes teacher specific skills and competencies to deal the students in particular area, in particular aspect of the content. Okay, so that's why personal information is also a part of teacher's appraisal. And further, self-assessment. Self-assessment means this appraisal, the teacher prepares this appraisal, and that appraisal includes detail about the teacher, teacher's engagement in the teaching learning process, teacher's engagement in assessment, that what are the new innovations, what are the new techniques, what are the new methods, what are the new strategies, what are the new innovative strategies teacher has used in his or her classroom to teach the learners, at the same time to assess you can say the performance of the learners. So that is the part of the self-assessment of teacher appraisal. Okay, so teacher will assess himself or herself that what the teacher does in the classroom, what the teacher perform in the classroom, and it also includes you can say the product of the teacher, that means to whom the teacher is teaching, the level of their attainment, the level of their achievement. Okay, whether any significant, any excellent result the teacher has received from the students or not. So that is also a part of teacher's appraisal. And teacher's appraisal further, this is appraised by the reporting authority. So who is the reporting authority? You can say the reporting authority of the teacher, it may be a principal or a head teacher, head of the school. So here head of the school will go through the self-assessment of teacher's appraisal, and the head of the school or the principal will go through each and every aspect of teachers appraisal and take a decision that whether the things are happening properly or not. It includes the teaching behavior of the teachers, at the same time adopting different assessment practices, how teacher making his or her teaching and assessment innovative and teaching innovative and new, and bringing certain newness in the in teaching, learning and assessment. And further, that is the teacher's appraisal is also appraised by the reviewing authority. So who is the reviewing authority? So here the reviewing authority you can say is the school management, or you can say the Department of Education. So they will also go through the teacher's appraisal. So friends, teacher appraisal includes everything about the teacher, his professional life, his or her professional life, his engagement in the classroom, his engagement in assessment, his or her engagement both in scholastic and post-scholastic development of the learners, okay, and teachers' engagement in the development of other areas of the knowledge, engagement of the learners in other areas of knowledge, just like peace education, work education, craft education, okay, yoga education. So here teacher appraisal will be reviewing by the management of the schools, or you can say the department of the education, the district education department, the block education department, or you can say education department of a state. So many a time when we talk about assessment is for enhancing learning, so here also it includes in teachers appraisal that what assessment practices teacher uses in his or her teaching in teaching. And for the second terms that we use, that's the test. So try to understand the concept of a test. Test have some organized items in a sequence to test some specific trait or the attribute. So this is, you can say, this is the organization, or this is the selection of certain particular types of questions or particular types of items for measuring or for assessing some specific trait or attribute of the individual or of the students or the learners. It may be achievement, it may be intelligence, it may be other attribute also. And when we talk about achievement, it may be achievement in mathematics, it may be achievement in science, achievement in social science accordingly. So if it is achievement test of mathematics, so you will find that the items or the questions that are organized, that are from the content of, from the concept of mathematics in a particular class, okay. And if it is in a language and literature, you will find that that is also from that content point. So it is, you will find that particular questions are taken for assessing certain trait and attribute in a specific in a sequential order. And second, test can be used as a tool for quantitative as well as qualitative assessment. So friends, we can use the test or other tools also for quantitative assessment, at the same time for qualitative assessment, okay. By using an achievement test, what we can do, we can get certain score, okay, score of a students in a subject, okay. So here it is in terms of a quantity. And for qualitative assessment, we can also use a type of interview, we can also use a type of observation, we can also use a questionnaire, we can also use certain open-ended questions in a questionnaire. So that what we can do, we can find out the quantitative as well as the qualitative values. And further, we can say test is a systematic tool to measure sample behavior. It is a systematic tool because this has been developed as per the learning outcome, as per the purpose, and as per the objective. That means mathematical ability of the learners in class 9th, okay, attainment of science in class 10th, learners attainment or learners achievement in in science in class 10th. So that's why here this is we do a very systematic way that what are the items will be taken, and further whether the items are really measuring the same ability of the learners or not. So this is the concept of a test. And further, we can say there are certain common criteria of a test keeping in consideration of the criteria of administrative condition, you can say the test is of individual test or a group test. Individual test means at a time, as a teacher you can administer that test upon only one individual or one child or one learner. And group test, that means a test can be used among group of learners together at a time. And further, so far as criteria of a test is concerned, so far as criteria of scoring is concerned, it may be objective scoring or subjective scoring. That means it may be objective test or subjective test. Objective test means it may be a multiple choice types of question, or it may be other types of objective questions. Okay, and in subjective test, it may be a short answer types of question, it may be an essay types of questions. And here scoring pattern of objective and subjective test will be different. And for the time limit, so far as the criteria of time limit is concerned, test may be of two types, that is power test and speed test. Speed test means how fast you are, how quickly you are completing the test, taking very small amount of time. Okay, and power test means how deeply you are involving in the content, you are analyzing the content, you are narrating the content. Okay, so that means you are exhibiting your power, your understanding, okay, your skills and competencies that you have achieved. But in a speed test, it just touch upon the surface knowledge, it based upon the knowledge and understanding of the learners, but taking very minimum time, you can do more and more questions. And further, so far as criteria of nature of items are concerned, we can say that test is of three types, that is the verbal test, then second non-verbal test, and performance test. Verbal test means that you are getting in written form, in pen and paper. And non-verbal test, it may be interview, okay, it may be observation. Many a time by doing the participant observation, you are also doing a type of assessment, okay, and many a time by interacting with the students, you are also doing the assessment. So this is the non-verbal test. Okay, many a time without writing, by using certain figures, by using certain pictures, you are also doing a type of assessment. And further performance test, that is mostly depends upon you can say the achievement of the learners, and that is specifically related to a subject. It may be mathematics, science, social science, language or literature. And so far as criteria of standardization is concerned, test is of two types. One is the standardized test and other is the teacher made test. Teacher made test means as a teacher, the test that you are preparing to know the performance of the learners to whom you are dealing. Okay, so that test you are preparing every day in every lessons that you are doing. Okay, you are just taking the unit test, you are taking the quarterly examination, semester wise examination. So that test you are preparing, and you know the level of the learners, you know the content, and you are preparing a test. And for the standardized test, that test is already prepared by the test specialist, and that has been standardized. That means the reliability, validity, usability, and the norm, objectivity and the norm have developed in that test, and that test can be used anywhere, you can say, upon that group of learners. A standardized test of mathematics of class 9th or class 15 to 16th age group students can be used in Delhi, it can be used in the schools of Mumbai, it can be used in the school of Chennai, in every way. Further, we'll discuss about examination. Okay, after discussing the test, here you see the concept of examination. Examination is considered as a formal system to know how much one has achieved. Okay, so how much of score, how much of percentage of scores that one has achieved. And further, it is basically a test to see how good somebody is at something, how good of something. So here you see two things. I'm just focusing, one is how much and one is how good. So when I talk about how much, it focuses upon the quantity, and when I talk about the how good, it focuses upon quality. So that's why by conducting an examination, we measure two aspects of the learners, that is the quantitative aspect, at the same time qualitative aspects, and it also provides information about the strengths and shortcomings about through feedback. Through examination we give feedback to the learners, and that feedback the learners get the feedback. It may be a type of their strengths or it may be a type of their shortcomings. If it is shortcomings, then they have to overcome those shortcomings. If it is certain drawbacks, so they have to learn and they have to study more and they have to solve the difficulties that has been found out by conducting the examination. Types of examination is concerned, we can say that so far as mode of examination is concerned, it may be written examination or oral examination or practical examination. Written examination, that means in pen and paper examination. Oral examination, it may be a type of interview, interaction based examination. And practical examination, that means the hands-on practices of the learners. Many subjects you will find that is practical oriented so far as the science and other subjects are concerned. So here, so far as mode of examination is concerned, it may be written, oral and practical. So far as purpose of examination is concerned, it may be diagnostic, it may be performance based, and it may be promotion based. Okay, so this is the purpose is to diagnose the learning difficulties, and the further purpose is to know the level of performance, and the next purpose is to promotion, to promote the learners from one standard to other standard. And so far as coverage of examination is concerned, it may be annual, semester, quarterly or monthly. Okay, so you do, or as a teacher you do annual examination, semester examination, quarterly examination or monthly examination, so far as the system of so far as your system is concerned. And so far as the objectives of examination is concerned, it may be academic objective, it may be professional objective, or it may be competitive based examination objective. Okay, academic objective means in the class what you are doing. Okay, in professional examination means that you are doing in different professional field, and competitive examination that we do in different job fields. So friends, just to recapitulate, in this video lesson we discussed about assessment for enhancing learning, how assessment helps or how assessment enhances for gathering, for achieving new learning of the learners. And at the same time we have also discussed about the new terms or the three terms, that is appraisal, test and examination, that we use in teaching learning process, including in assessment. For further queries, you can write to me Niradhar at ignou.ac.in. You can make me a telephone call. You can also visit my Facebook account, YouTube channel. At the same time, my Twitter handle. You will find out many such video lessons in education that will help you for your study. Thank you.